Sometimes in life we just suffer. Sometimes it's from being totally withdrawn, or so much stress that we are totally anxious, or so tired that we are totally burnt out. But our current position is not our final destination. No, indeed. There's hope. So whether it's your personal life, your career, your relationship, your business, or your job, we say there's reason to believe again. And we present from Andy's personal development, the breakout room. It's the place for health, happiness, and prosperity. Stay tuned for more. Here we go. So, this is Andy of Andy's Personal Development, and we are live in the breakout room with our special guest, Theresa Rose. I'll introduce her to you in a minute, but first of all, let me apologize for the late start. We had some technical challenges, but we are dealing with them. As you can see, I'm in a new studio environment now as we speak, but our guest is here, Theresa is here, and that's what matters the most. That is very important. So before I ask her to say hello, let me just give you a little background on Theresa. She is a brand and business crystallizer, strategic co-creator, and certified speaking professional who works with experts and their businesses to create one-of-a-kind visual brands they can draw on a cocktail napkin. So that is just me bragging of what I know, but she knows herself best. So let's invite Theresa Rose to introduce herself and welcome to the breakout room. Theresa, how are you?
I am doing well, Andy. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. And you did an outstanding job introducing me. I would love to just start having wonderful conversations.
Ah, wonderful. Looking forward to it as well. So here's the thing, Theresa. We usually begin by asking our guests to tell us a little bit about themselves as far back as they can remember. Of course, you would know in your business that most folks tell you that between 5, 7, and 8 is the foundational years of their lives. Whatever they learned, whatever they have built upon in terms of their mannerism, their characteristics, it came basically from there, the culture, the religion, the food, etc. How far back can you go to remember yourself as a young lady growing up?
Oh, you have just asked me my favorite question ever, ever, ever. Because when I bring myself back to being 5 years of age, I am in the passenger seat of a rusty yellow Datsun B210 in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And my mom is in the driver's seat after having worked all day long as a nurse. And she and I were driving to an event that she was doing as a Mary Kay consultant. And she had just become a single mother of 3 children. And I was the youngest, and I went with her on these sales these facials and these shows and these recruiting interviews and these events, these speaking events, and all of these things that I saw when I was a very young girl. And that imprinted on me to such a degree that I experience it to this day. The understanding of, first of all, just resiliency. Driving in a blizzard to sell a mascara takes a special kind of gumption to make that happen and go back to it over and over again. And I also learned about the art of sales, and I watched it. I got a chance to actually see a woman in that 30, 40 some years ago, that 50 some years ago, that was unheard of, to have a single mother who was running a business and running a family. And I was a significant anomaly in my class for having a single mom who worked in her own business. And I got to watch someone express themselves in a really powerful way and a persuasive way. She was very successful, and I rode shotgun in a pink Cadillac for many, many years. So she was incredibly successful, and I got to watch what it took to actually do that and lead teams and just do amazing things. So thank you for asking the question. My mother's name was Kayleen.
All right. So we appreciate what Kayleen has done for you. Obviously, she has taught you well, grown you up well, and we appreciate the passion as you went down memory lane in your story. So Theresa, from there on, when did you find your true calling? When did you discover your true passion for what you wanted to become in life?
I believe that that is an evolution. I
Mhm.
believe that for me, my experience in life is that I never got a drop on the head like an anvil that said, here's your true calling and your passion. I now at where I'm at in my career and my life, where I'm finally doing the things that are leveraging all of my skills and talents in the best possible way and the most significant way. I realized that all of the things that came before today have made that happen. And so I had true callings very young, as just, I mean, again, that same 5-year-old, that same 3-year-old. I mean, in preschool, they'd say, who wants to, be Mary? I do. Who wants to be the Silver Bell? I will. Who wants to be the Rudolph? I will. Okay. I was always the child that wanted the microphone, always. And so it's just sort of inherent in me. And I knew that I wanted to perform in some way because I just love being in front of people and I love energizing them. I have this flame inside of my heart that comes out, and it's always been there, and I want to share it with people on pages and stages and screens. So
Okay, great. So when you are being described as a crystallizer,
yeah.
what are folks specifically referring to, and where did it start for you that
Yeah.
you carry that term?
Yeah, thank you. So crystallization is what I do now, and what my passion is and what my purpose is.
Yeah.
And what crystallization is all about is being a strategic co-creator to a brand or a business, and be able to see their brilliance in such a way that it is distilled down to its essence and drawn on a cocktail napkin.
Okay.
So I crystallize the brilliance of brands and businesses by going through all the noise and all of the distractions and all of the things that they just put more and more words into,
Yeah.
and just more and more layers of noise. I go through all of that and I distill it down to its essence based on this process that I do, that really is a heart-centered, heart initiated process. I literally connect my heart to the hearts of the other people who are needing my assistance in clarity work, which is what I deliver, is clarity. That's ideal in clarity. That's my so I send that out when I connect with people and really can feel their desire to make the world a better place through their brilliance and whatever it is. Then I can actually feel and sense the pearls among all of the, all the swine. So just to really get to the essence, and that's the hardest thing to do. And yet the one would look at it on the surface and say it's it's the easiest thing to do. But these are the two reasons why people don't do it. One, they can't see them. We're built not to see ourselves. We cannot see ourselves. I will never see my body ever.
Yeah.
In its full totality. I will only see reflections of it. I will only see portions of it. I will only see perceptions of it, but I will never actually see myself. And that's the same way with our businesses and our brands and how we show up in the world and what we want to offer people and our ideas. It's where I believe we are designed not to reach our fullest potential unless someone else genuinely sees us.
Wow, that is so deep, Theresa, and thank you very much for sharing. I appreciate that. I'm looking at your information and it tells us that you were named most enthusiastic in Mr. Moseman's second grade class.
Yeah.
But
Uh-huh.
that enthusiasm remained apparently as fresh as it was way back then.
Yeah.
How do you keep that level of energy, Theresa? It's so obvious. And I mean, I guess you put that into your work because you let people remove all the ugly stuff and the overburden and all the
Yep.
fussing and just bring it to a simple, more amenable position where they can rise and
Yes.
experience their full potential. How
Yep.
do you keep that so bubbly and alive? What
Well, I don't always, Andy. I don't always.
okay,
Okay.
okay.
This is podcast Theresa.
All right, all right. But it's good.
Okay.
It's good.
But thank you. But I am genuinely, I am this, I am this bubbly. I am this enthusiastic. It's in my bones. How I think the deeper question is, because enthusiasm is a characteristic, it's a trait, it's an opportunity for people to put their absolute best foot forward in the world. And so it's not a trivial skill and not a trivial characteristic to have, is to be enthusiastic. It's incredibly persuasive, and it's enlightening, and it's igniting, and it's magnetizing, and it's magnifying, right? So it's a really great trait to cultivate. And so part of what I believe with enthusiasm is there's a lot of practice that gets wrapped into being as enthusiastic now as I was in second grade. And how have I done that in the main, right? Most of the time, how I've done that is to have deep respect for myself as a vehicle of the light, and to take care of that vehicle, mind, body, and spirit, and do all of the things that I know and I learn as I go, right? So I'm even more enthusiastic now than I was last week, because now I've just done a huge detox. I'm not having any caffeine. I have no gluten. I have no dairy. I am juicing celery juice and having heavy metal detox smoothie in the morning. Okay, like part of it is, and it's literally clearing out your channel of your body to keep it to a vibration, so that you can hold more energy, so that you don't run out of gas. Like, that's the opposite of enthusiasm, is to me, is an empty tank.
Mm,
The
wow.
opposite of enthusiasm is an empty tank.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. I love it. And I still feel that passion and that freshness. And there's something that I want to share with you, because I think it helps to elevate your story. So here we go. Let's see if I can get it going.
Hey there. So this last week, I had a huge week of client crystallizations and brand clarity reviews and podcast interviews and team meetings and sales discussions and practicing my TEDx talk that I'm delivering in 2 weeks. And I've got a weekend coming up that is going to be full and rich worth of activities. So right now I am taking a moment, or several, to just be. One of the ways that I do as much as I do from a creative standpoint and a strategic standpoint is to master the moments of acceleration and then restoration. And that's where I'm at right now. And so I want to invite you that if you've got a lot of things that you're doing, also remember that the being is just as important as the doing. That's what enables you to keep having the energy to deliver at a higher level. So I hope that helps. Just take it easy. Relax. Slow down.
Wow.
Get into that.
Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome.
That is so powerful.
Oh, thank you.
That was deep.
Thank you.
Where did that
Acceleration
come
and
from?
restoration.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the doing and the being.
The doing and the being. Yeah.
Wow. How do we learn that? Do we? I mean, it's like everybody's always busy, doing,
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah.
And I remember quickly a particular sage that I read a lot. I believe it's Robin Sharma. He said, so many times as human beings, we spend a lot of time just being human doers instead of being human beings who take time out to come to terms with our creation, our creator, and just rest for a moment, rest for a while, re-energize, research,
Yes.
and then deal with the situation.
Exactly.
Wrapped it up. You summed it up so appropriate. How do we
Thank you.
get there, Theresa? How do
Well,
we
we first don't, first we let go of language that says, how do we get there? Because get there indicates a destination, and this is not a destination game. This is about every moment, right? Every moment being able to decide, where am I now? Where am I now in mind, body, and spirit? Like for me right now, after having a clean system, like really clean system, this is, I'm feeling fantastic. I'm feeling great, right? But we need to watch ourselves at all the moments, because they can be up and they can be down, and it's not, the goal for me is not perfection. The goal for me every single day is, can I reduce the gap between the unhealthy, ill-advised, negative consequence choice I could make, and learning from it and moving and getting back to center. It's not about being perfect. It's trying to pay attention. It's trying to pay attention. And that's what my crystallization work is about. That's why I'm able to do it to such a degree, because it's about being present with people and their expression of who they are through their content. People are brilliant all the time. You're brilliant on your show. You're brilliant where you're writing. You're brilliant where you speak. You're brilliant when you are on your own podcast interviews. There's all these ways that all of us show up. And when you can stay as present as possible in the moment, and be grounded, and be clear, and be grateful, and be optimistic, and be looking up, and be open, and connect with people, you will then be able to see what they can't see, right? And to feel what they can't feel. And it's just a matter of being fully present as best as we possibly can.
Yeah.
And it's not getting there, right?
Yeah.
It's not getting there. And I just want to offer, I think that how we get there faster, how do we have those moments of presence more often? How do we have those moments of presence more often is really about committing to the value of ourselves, the value of our lives, the value of our health and our vitality, and understanding that caring for ourselves is ground zero.
Yeah. Yeah. It starts with us first.
Yes.
Wow. Wow. This is deep. I'm thinking, Theresa, about the power of rebranding. And I have to go back to maybe just about a year or so ago, when people were getting out of COVID and struggling with rebranding. Some even had to close down their current businesses and try something else. How much of what you are currently doing has been able to help people in that kind of scenario where they had to rebrand or start all over again? What steps were necessary now for them to take so that they could get back into the stream of business that many would consider is closer to normalcy than was what we were experiencing a couple of years ago? I mean, it was terrible.
You're right. Yeah. Yeah. So I help people all the time who are rebranding, but what it's really about is reinventing yourself, reinventing how you're going to do this. I always feel that rebranding feels more like, okay, what kind of color changes are you going to make, and what kind of you're going to put a fresh coat of paint on the house, right? And what reinvention is, as opposed to rebranding or reignition, is to really look at the entire house within and say, what is the essence of this house? What are the rooms? What are the main components of your brilliance, to start really from scratch with an outside set of eyes that's going to be able to, because people get in these ruts of thinking where they just go, oh, well, I tried that before and it didn't work. No, you didn't try it after learning all of these things that you don't notice that you're learning, right?
Yeah.
People perceive the failures, quote, failures that they've experienced in their lives, in their businesses at 35, I tried this and it didn't work, and now I'm 42. But 42, you can handle the failure of the 35 you that experienced it. Right. And with the clarity now, because that's the thing, I believe that we all have shown up in such a varied way, that having someone be able to pull all that down and show it to you is the basis of a rebrand. Because once you have the visual that you can draw on a cocktail napkin that's different than everybody else's, when you can have that, think of, just as a famous example, is the Simon Sinek golden circle. Why? Three concentric circles with why, how, and what, right? Of why, what great leaders need to do to inspire action. That's the kind of cocktail napkin clarity that brands and businesses need if they're going to reinvent themselves from scratch. And then once you have that, then everything you do in the world, everywhere people read, listen, watch, and interact with you, you keep talking the same thing over and over and over again. Then they understand who you are, right? Who, no matter where they find you, they're all getting the same message.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing, Theresa. I really appreciate your passion. So here's the thing. How much does a leader, and I want to bring this really close to a practical scenario, a CEO, company owner, someone who's a manager of a team, how much of their personality in terms of their characteristics needs to come through in the process by which they lead their team, lead the organization by example. In other words, are they the ones that are suited or chosen to set the pace and the rest of the team follow? Or is it going to be that they're going to lay down something, the team takes it up and runs with it, and just sit in the background and watch? How much of that person's character, mannerisms, plays into the development of the organization as a whole?
That's a wonderful question, but I heard two of them in there. So it's the characteristics, and it's the does the leader dictate, or does the team dictate? And I'd like to answer the second question first, and then be able to come back to the first question. So the second question is, I actually see that it's neither. So the old paradigm of leadership is triangle based, hierarchical based. One would say patriarchal based, right? Where it is someone above, and then you've got below, right? Somebody's in charge on top, pushing down to the people. And the same idea of, oh no, servant leadership is still, the people are on the bottom, but they're the ones that are building it from the ground up, and that's how the leader should change. I actually believe we're moving from a triangle-based society to a circle-based society. And that circle-based society would mean that there is no hierarchy of the leader to the team dictating the team, or the team dictating what this leader should do. It's a circle, just like life. We are all connected. We are in one community together. And so, yes, his, her, they personality and characteristics and core values especially totally matter. Core values matter more than characteristics. You can be introverted, extroverted. You could be, a science nerd, or you could be a happy hour ninja. It doesn't matter. It's your core values that really need to what create that circle of
Mhm.
connection that you need to have with your team. And the team needs to feel that level of equanimity, of respect, mutual respect, all of those things. So it's not one begets the other, it's both, and we're doing this all together.
Yeah. Wow. Amazing. You know, the thing about it is that I have seen organizations where the persons who are on the floor, basically, they are either creating the product or offering the services, and they're finding it hard to align their core values with that of the organization. Is that something that can pose problems for the organization? Because it's as if they're just going through the motions because their core values do not align. And it's just a means to an end, but at the end of the day, nothing more is being put into it. Could that hamper the development and growth of any organization?
Oh, well, absolutely. You want to make sure that the values are clearly identified, that they've been thought through, and that they're in the lifeblood. And I mean true lifeblood. Does it feel like the life of this company that is pulsating through it are these words, right? So do we really resonate with this? Is this true? Is
Yeah.
this true? And it
Yeah.
needs to be true, or certainly aspirationally true, right? We may not be there, or we have moments of there, or we have, great pockets of this wonderful value, but,
Yeah.
really being in alignment with the truth of that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the C-suite leadership really dictates that, the ownership dictates that, why are people coming together to create this business? And then, so defining it, and that's where crystallization can be utilized for core values, can be wrapped around a unique value, visual identity of your core values. So it's not just enough, though, to have it. It needs to be communicated. It needs to be lived. It needs to be breathed. And so, and all the way through, not down to the bottom, but to everyone in the circle of the organization, everyone in the circle, from the CEO to the janitor, to the frontline salesperson, to the secretary, now called administrative assistant, right?
Yeah.
All those things, all those people are in a circle of connection. And smart CEOs will understand that.
Okay.
Smart CEOs will understand that they want to treat their team in a circle-oriented fashion, so people feel included.
Yeah.
They can feel a part of it. They are vested, their energy.
Yeah. They feel as they are in on things, and they basically behave more like a shareholder than someone who just going through a motion.
Right.
9 to 5.
Right.
Yeah.
And listen, and here's the thing,
Yeah.
listen to them. The smart CEOs will listen and say, what can we do with ask all the people, what can we do to more fully embody these core values? Give us specific suggestions.
Yeah.
This empowers the team, instead of going, if you don't give them empowerment, they will give you the silent disconnect. They will cut you down in private in glassdoor.com or whatever it is that is talking trash about your organization, instead of really opening and welcoming to them and saying, if we can do this further. So instead of telling about the problems, let's talk about how we can it's back to the enthusiasm. How can we more best emulate these values? And then when you listen to them, here's what they don't, what big clunky hierarchical old school organizations do is they will not even think about asking the people, but B, when they do ask the people and then the people give them ideas, they don't put them into place.
Wow.
Don't ask somebody if you don't want to hear what they have to say.
Yeah. Don't just ask for the process of just asking, or for the sake of asking.
Yeah.
Ask with an intent and a purpose.
Exactly. And follow through. And if it means you
Yeah.
have cut
Yeah.
corners somewhere else,
Yeah.
if it means you cut corners somewhere else to do a beta test of a tiny idea that somebody has that says, I think this could make a difference, and you test it and you measure it and you see if it works, and you ask other people to reflect on it and see if it's a good idea so that you can expand it further. Spend a little bit of seed money, for goodness sake. Spend
Yeah.
a little bit to empower your team, and it will go a long, long way.
Yeah. I can imagine you talking to some of these CEOs and these chief financial officers. Boy, yeah, you shake up the atmosphere around them. I like I like your passion. Wow. So I just want to switch gears a little bit here, Theresa. And I'm going to read what I'm seeing before me. It says mindful performance, how to powerfully impact profitability, productivity, and purpose.
Mhm.
Your daily dose of mojo, 365 days of mindful living and working. Start now, grow big. I love that. And bits of bigness, inspirational nuggets to remind you of your magnificence.
Yeah.
Start with the last one first. I really want to get to know about your writing. It's intriguing.
Oof. Well, I'm going to kind of go briefly because my writing, it was from a previous iteration of my professional brand. What most of that content is certainly the bits of bigness, and your daily dose of mojo is a 365-day journal of empowerment, and Start Now, Grow Big. Those are all books about really how can you turn what I used to call the gift in the gunk. How can you find the gift in the gunk? How can you get more intentional, more present, more positive, more energized, all that. So it's really, imagine it just being like empowerment glitter, okay? That goes all, they're little blasts, right? That's largely what those books are. Mindful Performance is about the system that I created that really blends mindfulness with business management best practices, because everybody knows they need mindfulness. Like you asked, how do you do this? Well, I wrote a book on how I do things and how I have seen things work in my professional career as an enterprise senior manager, in marketing and product development, and being a consultant, and being a professional, speaker and a thought leader and a coach, and even my airy-fairy cosmic muffiny days when I ran an alternative healing center and taught guided meditation every week. So there's lots of things that, again, our whole past colors who we become, right? Who we are. And so that book, Mindful Performance, is really a system that goes over 9 areas of focus that people can look at in a way if they want to start to improve their presence, their mindfulness, and areas like movement, meditations, manifestations, messages, meetings, mentors and masterminds, messes, media, and meals and Z's, right? I have my own model within Mindful Performance that helps them have a roadmap of how they can really get more present and suck more joy out of life.
Okay. Yeah, sounds intriguing. I appreciate your sharing. Thank you, Theresa. The energy of persuasion using show and tell.
Yeah.
Show and tell is a scientific technique that we use in public speaking. The energy of persuasion can always turn up through the process of show and tell. It's something that people in business also, particularly if they are team leaders or CEOs, should try to master or at least learn, so that in terms of their level of communication, they get a clearer message to the team. Hey, this is the
Show
vision.
and tell them.
This is where we want to go.
Yes.
This is the time it's going to take. This is the course it's going to take. This is your role in it. And at X amount of time, this is what we are supposed to accomplish. Clarity.
Clarity, and especially visual clarity. So, in this distracted and disengaged and frankly, traumatized world in which we live, if a leader or a sales professional or a thought leader or a top executive wants to persuade someone to create a new, mindset and take an action, most importantly. You want to think about what's the most potent way of communicating that information then, the ask, right? If you're putting an ask out there, you want to be able to make sure that you're, first of all, eliminating the biggest barrier to conversion, and that is confusion.
Okay.
A confused mind doesn't say yes.
Mm,
A confused mind doesn't buy.
yeah.
So clarity about what you're even talking about, what you're offering, is important. And so when I say show and tell as opposed to sell, I'm encouraging people to take out the narrative out of their own mind and out of their own kind of framework, and create it, and literally an external framework you can draw, you can show. Because when you can draw whatever it is that is your main the essence of what you want to come across, when you can draw it in such a alliterative, poetic, memorable, intuitive way that people understand it, that will go so much further, because they'll actually in their bodies understand what you're talking about, instead of just in these words that just fly around.
Yeah. Yeah. See, you just hit on it there. Embodiment. I can come to you and I can speak some brilliant stuff. But if there is not any form of embodiment, then the hollowness of it, I'm going to hear it. It's going to come out to me loud.
Exactly.
So the process, and I use the word godly, the process, to me, it has a lot to do with being aware of where you are, where other people are, and now being able to understand what it takes to bridge the gap in communication between you and them.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right?
Absolutely, which is why one of the when people ask what do I do, I usually say three things, and I say the second one is the most important to me. I'm a brand and business crystallizer. Okay, so I help people get clarity on a cocktail napkin, and I am a strategic co-creator.
Yeah.
And I'm a certified speaking professional. Now, I'm a certified speaking professional just says that I have skill and expertise to earn the highest credential that you can have as a professional speaker, right? That just answers the question of why should I listen to her, right? When it comes to that topic. But the second one, strategic co-creator, is my number one. If I'm anything, I'm that, because the other two things came from that. It is a new, not new at all. It's not a new way of being at all. It's just a more pure way of being.
Yeah.
Right? Where
Yeah.
we are truly in co-creation, as opposed to, one gets something and one gets another, and, we're both operating from our own agendas and all that, right? So it's a time to start going beyond collaboration and into strategic co-creation.
Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you so much for all the nuggets, the value, treasured contents. I love it. So I want to put you on the spot a little bit, but it may also kind of lighten the mood a little bit. We can just probably have some fun. I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and you have to answer one or the other. So it's a choice of one or the other, but you need to tell me why you made the choice. So here's the first one. And it may not even be in your choices, but you let me know. Is it ham and cheese or peanut butter and jelly? Because you just told me about detoxing and all that stuff. So maybe they are not even on your radar right now. But if you had a choice, which one would you choose?
I would have to go with ham and cheese on that. Toasted, make it a grilled ham and cheese, and then you've got perfection.
Oh my goodness. You don't even have to tell me why you choose it. I get it. So right now we have Sunday evening baseball or Sunday night football, the NFL. Which one would you choose?
Well, that's tough. Who's playing?
Oh my goodness. Okay. I want to relive a Super Bowl moment where you have the Chicago Bears playing the Indianapolis Colts. So they're playing.
Okay.
And Toronto, the Mayleaf people are playing the Oilers.
Okay.
So what would you choose?
So I'm going to say that I'm going to watch the baseball.
Ah, why the baseball?
Well, first of all, I kind of I used to be a huge football fan. I grew up in Chicago, and during the whole Super
Ah,
Bowl time, Walter Payton was I had a poster of Walter Payton on my wall when I was growing up. Okay, sweetness. I mean, it was every Sunday, no doubt, every single time,
right,
big
right,
time.
right.
And I just after that, I just started watching more basketball when I
Mm,
moved to Chicago. I then became more of a basketball fan,
yeah.
during the Jordan dynasty.
Yep. Yep.
So it was like incredible, right? And then I was always kind of sad, lonely, poor Cubs, right? Poor Chicago
Mm,
Cubs and White Sox during that time.
yeah. Yeah.
So I would say I would love to be at a baseball game or watch a baseball. I'd really like to be at the baseball game. If I'm going to go, I'd like to just go and not watch,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
I'm more of a full,
Yeah. You just want to be in that
100%.
atmosphere.
Yeah, I want to be part of the whole thing. I want the beer, I want the popcorn, I want the,
Hot
you know,
dogs and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. I get it. Okay. Final question. This one should be really simple. We have two technical giants. One is focused on research, and they are way ahead of everyone else in the research game. But the other one is focused on products and services. One is Microsoft, the other one is Apple Inc. Which one would you choose?
Well, of course, Apple.
I
I'm
knew
an
it.
I'm an
I
Apple
knew
person 100% all the way, everywhere.
it. Why Apple?
They just are more intuitive.
There you go. There you go. Okay. What a wonderful note to end this episode on. You have been amazing guest, Theresa Rose. And so I want you to now share your hashtag social handles with people. If they need to get in contact with you, they probably need to get into your books, but more so into the strategic work that you do with regards to co-creating these products and services.
Yeah.
How can they make contact with you?
Well, they can just go to my website first, which is just
Uh,
theresarose.com. And it looks like there's a rose.com. If you wonder how to spell it, it looks like there's a rose.com. And then you can go to my at Theresa Rose Presents are my social handles.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
All right. Well,
It has
thank
been
you, Andy,
amazing.
for the wonderful opportunity to tell good stories and save the world. Right? We got to just do it one conversation at a time, one
One time.
cocktail napkin at a time.
Yeah, yeah. You just need to touch one person per day, and that's going to make a whole lot of difference in the world. So there you have it, folks. This is Andy of Andy's Personal Development, together with my guest, Theresa Rose, live in the breakout room. It has been amazing and engaging conversation, and I know that the information you've received is going to make a difference in your life once you apply it to the places that you need to apply it to. Remember our three watchwords: health, happiness, and prosperity. That's what we stand here for on this program. And Theresa epitomized those words in the manner in which she presented her information and her content. So until next time, I'm saying to you, Godspeed, God bless, stay in peace, stay in grace, stay in love. Shalom. Bye for now. Until next time.
Bye-bye.